Your top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. 2026 Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo set for February 17 to 20 under the theme Building Tomorrow's Future Today. AK-47 wielding cop charged, remanded to prison, faces life imprisonment. Man accuses police force of unfair treatment, losing hope of reclaiming his motorcycle that was confiscated by former employer. Multiple fuel smuggling operations linked to Guyana. Fuel seized in 2 separate raids. And in sport, inaugural PROMOTECH golf tournament set for Sunday tee-off. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm ALETHEA Grant with the Friday, 5th December 2025 edition of the HGP Nightly News. This is what we will tell you this evening. The 2026 edition of the Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo was launched on Friday at the Eden West Hotel in Georgetown under the theme Building Tomorrow's Future Today. Antonio Day was there and filed this report.
The 5th edition of the Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Exposition, scheduled for February 17 to 20, was launched on Friday at Eden West Hotel in Georgetown. In his address, the president of the ExxonMobil Guyana, Alistair Routledge, stated that for the past 5 years, the oil and gas conglomerate has been able to secure business partnerships and improve efficiency in that sector. He said based on the successful hosting of past conferences, the 2026 Energy Expo will provide an opportunity for ExxonMobil and co-ventures to further discuss the future and development of the petroleum industry.
I look forward in the 2026 edition of the Energy Conference to us updating that vision, talking about the progress that we've all made, and then talking about what is needed in order to continue on this remarkable journey.
Vikram Bharat, Minister of Natural Resources, stated that the government is currently in the process of revising several components of Schedule 1 of the Local Content Act of 2021 due to the emergence of many local partners. He said that the modification of the Local Content Act will ensure that the inclusion of localized entities as well as fair fiscal regulations for key players in the sector.
To look at the loopholes that exist in the existing legislation and to see how we can strengthen the legislation basically so that there is no avenue for people trying to, for example, fronting or setting up or establishing shell companies.
The subject minister also noted that while tailored discussions on the Local Content Act will be one of the main highlights, discussions will also be held to address other sectors. Stressing the importance of supporting the agro-processing and manufacturing sectors, Minister Bharat believes citizens are too fanciful about foreign imported and exported goods. He believes that the time has come to support more homegrown products.
Manufacturing will be one of the most critical areas that any investor or any investment coming into the country or even local investors should look at. What we interact with, most of it, or if not all of it, are not produced in Guyana. And that's a sad reality.
The Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo is an annual event that brings together industry leaders, policymakers, and stakeholders to discuss developments and opportunities in energy and supply chains. The event will feature workshops, panel discussions, and networking opportunities, allowing attendees to interact directly with peers and experts. The 2026 edition of the Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo will be held under the theme Building Tomorrow's Future Today. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
The Minister of Home Affairs has issued a strong warning to members of the Guyana Police Force, stressing that misconduct will not be tolerated as the force navigates rising crime and increased national demands. More details from Tiana Cole.
Minister of Home Affairs Unuj Waldron on Friday told the ranks at the Guyana Police Force Christmas Awards ceremony that the force must urgently strengthen professionalism as the country expands rapidly. She noted that Guyana's unprecedented growth, increased mobility, and more complex forms of crime now required a modern, well-equipped, and technology-driven police force.
We must confront an uncomfortable truth. Public trust is fragile. One act of misconduct can undo months of hard work. Yet one act of honesty or compassion can restore the confidence of an entire community.
Walron said the Ghana Police Force has seen both extremes this year, officers who went above and beyond the call of duty, and incidents of malpractice that continue to cast a dark shadow over the entire institution.
There will be zero tolerance for malpractice, abuse of authority, or any behavior that dishonors this uniform. Every officer must commit to the highest standards of integrity, accountability, and service. The people of Guyana deserve nothing less.
Her comments follow recent incidents of indiscipline within the force, including a case of a Region 1 police constable who was remanded to prison after being caught on a video drunkenly brandishing a firearm, an AK-47 in public while threatening civilians. The video, widely circulated on social media, showed the rank wearing civilian clothing as he recklessly discharged the weapon. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Meanwhile, Travis Chase reports now that a Region 1 cop is facing the possibility of serving a life sentence over an AK-47 Rampage, which was widely circulated on social media.
A Region 1 police constable is now facing the possibility of life in prison and corporal punishment after being charged with possession of a firearm with intent to injure, one of the most serious offences under Guyana's Firearm Offences Act. Constable Daniel Henry appeared before Magistrate Rabindranath Singh on Thursday. The charge was read, but he was not required to enter a plea. The court denied bail, and Henry has been remanded to prison until his next appearance on January 14, 2026. Under Section 37 of Chapter 1605, anyone convicted of this offence is, quote, liable to imprisonment for life and to whipping or flogging, unquote. This charge stems from a disturbing incident that unfolded shortly after midnight last Saturday in Port Kaituma, an incident the Guyana Police Force only publicly acknowledged more than 24 hours later. A widely circulated video shows the constable appearing heavily intoxicated, brandishing an AK-47, firing rounds into the roadway, and issuing threats as residents looked on in fear. But the questions continue to mount. How did an allegedly drunk officer gain access to a high-powered rifle? What exactly was entered or omitted in the station diary that night? And why did the police force wait so long before addressing an incident this serious? As public concerns grow, investigators are now under pressure to explain not just the officer's actions, but the internal failures that allowed the situation to escalate to this point. The matter remains under active investigation. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned, we have more news for you. Welcome back with the HGP Nightly News. Tensions flared high when the Region 6 Regional Democratic Council met for its very first meeting on Wednesday. Marvin Cato reports.
I did not ask the procedure of how an investigation is being done. You will see here is Colin Moore, that will be the fool. I am not asking for clarification. I asked specific questions to the RHO. I asked, was there an investigation launched? And if so, what are the findings?
That was Colin Moore, a Partnership for National Unity APNU's regional councillor, who was visibly upset over the interpretation of various procedural and policy matters of the council. The Region 6 Regional Democratic Council RDC was meeting for the first time following the installation of a new council body on Wednesday.
She don't have to come here and tell me, oh, this is the procedure. I'm not a dummy. And secondly, with a child, I understand. If the Sheriff would know this too, these people come in and say, look, there's not good standard at the home and whatever, and we take the child to understand that.
The highlight of the less than 2-hour inaugural council meeting however, was the sustained back and forth between Moore and Regional Health Officer Venetia Kiodar, who was grilled about allegations by a young mother who said her newborn baby was unceremoniously taken from her while a patient of the New Amsterdam Hospital. Moore also sought answers on the maternal incident that took place at the same hospital 2 weeks ago, where Latoya Griffith and her newborn died.
The welfare officers are looking at that child, and it is the doctors that is managing this said baby, and the welfare officers are having communication with the mother.
Tensions also rose when Moore clashed with the People's Progressive Party Civic PPC councillor Sean Smith, who proposed to remove urgent matters from the council's agenda. This request, according to Moore, is uncharted territory for most of the members. Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Guyana has taken a major leap in education with the official launch of the Guyana Digital School, an innovative online gateway designed to transform how students learn and thrive. More details from Tiana Cole.
Guyana's digital school was officially launched on Friday, marking a landmark step in transforming the country's education system and expanding access across the wider Caribbean. President Irfan Ali, delivering a feature address, described the initiative as a national development project designed not only for Guyana, but for the entire CARICOM region.
The digital school that we are launching today is a gateway. It is envisioned as a hub for digital learning. Through this school, we hope to create high-quality digital content, empower students with skills that match global standards, close the digital divide in education.
He further emphasized that the digital school is a strategic investment in the nation's future.
We are accelerating the transition to digital education, not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. The world will not slow down for Guyana. Technology will not pause for us to catch up. Opportunity will not freeze in time until we are ready. We must prepare now.
President Ali added that while digital education will not replace classrooms or teachers, it creates more equitable learning opportunities, especially crucial for a region vulnerable to natural disasters. It also provides flexible pathways for adult learners and out-of-school youth. Meanwhile, Minister of Education Sonia Parag noted that the digital school is built on a system designed to adjust to the needs of learners.
Already, a staggering 20,368 students from grades 10 and 11 across Guyana and the wider CARICOM region have enrolled and registered on this program.
She explained that the platform is grounded in a four-quadrant approach that blends technology, content engagement, and hands-on experience. This includes interactive online classes led by trained educators, a digital library, and AI-powered support tools.
That this is not an abandonment of the traditional schooling methodology, as some may have suggested. It is a strengthening of it. It introduces new avenues for learning so that no child falls behind because of distance, circumstance, or pace.
With advanced technology, regional backing, and thousands of students already on board, the Guyana Digital School is positioned to become a leading model for digital education across the Caribbean. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
A truck driver is accusing the Guyana Police Force of failing to provide assistance in retrieving his motorcycle. Here is more.
On the 23rd of September, I was employed with Excel Engineering, owned by Zaire Khan, and our next one is there running behind me named Delvin Sampson. I parked my motorcycle at Le Souvenir, where they have a construction going on at the back there.
That was Marlon Bianchini reliving the day his motorcycle was taken from him by representatives of his former employer, Excel Engineering, located in Station Street, Kitty. Bianchini said months has passed since the incident, and his pleas for justice has fallen on deaf ears.
I made contact with Ben. Ben told me until I make up my effing mind to fix back Excel Engineering truck, then I will have my motorcycle.
He's accusing the Guyana Police Force of dereliction of duties. He indicated that his motorcycle, his only mode of transportation, was confiscated by the company he worked for since September.
Since the 23rd, my bike missing, and up to now, nobody calling me and nobody telling me nothing. I have enough evidence to hold on to Zaire Khan and Delvin Sampson. Because these two fellas got knowledge about my motorcycle.
He is of the view that selective justice is at play, and as an ordinary citizen as compared to one who is connected, he is being treated unfairly.
I left and went to the Sparnam police station to make a report about the theft of my motorcycle. Upon arrival, I was told I have to go to BV station.
The distraught man is pleading for assistance to have his motorcycle returned since it is affecting him getting to and from work.
They told Delvin to report to Sparnam station to give an official statement. He did not. When I got to Sparnam station, I was told by Corporal Benjamin that instructions came from the commander to place me in the lockups.
Meanwhile, Nightly News reached out to Excel Engineering and was told by Aisha Khan, the wife of the owner, that she was unaware of the complaint. Contact was also made with Commander of Division 4C and Senior Superintendent Khalil Parsham, who related that he is yet to receive a feedback on the report that was made almost 3 months ago. Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Join us after this break. We have more news for you. Thanks for staying with us. You with the HGP Nightly News. The People's Progressive Party civic government continues to face harsh criticism from the political opposition for failing to alleviate the hardships of many Guyanese who constantly endure the constant spike in the cost for food and household items. Antonio Day has that story.
The government was right over the coals for what many say is their continuous failure to acknowledge the severe hardships citizens face due to the continuous spike in the cost of food and other necessities. Director Finance Member of Parliament for the Partnership for National Unity, during her party's press briefing on Friday, tore into the incumbent for reneging on promises to citizens while on the 2025 elections campaign trail.
Between 2020 and 2025, ordinary Guyanese have endured a sharp and sustainable rise in cost of living, while the government offers vague, inadequate, and inconsistent cash transfer promises, and a clear manifestation of weak fiscal planning.
The Shadow Minister of Indigenous Affairs stated that over the past 5 years, the burden on families has grown materially heavier. She added that statistics show consumer prices continue to rise through 2025, with food prices being a primary driver of month-to-month increases.
The government's own consumer price index data shows continued inflationary pressure in 2025, but the outcry says it is about 30 to 50%. Many Guyanese are reducing meal sizes and cutting essentials to make ends meet.
The MP said that the state must recognize that merely saying that the gross domestic product growth from oil and gas factually does not translate automatically into equality of life for Guyanese, one that can increase household resilience. Meanwhile, Dr. Tenz Campbell, parliamentary lead of the Partnership for National Unity, also remarked on the subject.
President Irfan Ali recently told Guyanese that if you behave yourself, you get it this year. Language that is disrespectful, improper, politically coercive.
Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Surinamese police have intercepted multiple fuel smuggling operations linked to Guyana. Travis Chase is on that story.
Suriname's authorities say they have disrupted 2 separate fuel smuggling attempts believed to have originated from Guyana, confiscating thousands of liters of gasoline in coordinated operations this week. According to police in the country's west region, officers moved in on Wednesday after receiving intelligence that a vessel had crossed the Quarantine River and landed illegally with fuel. When ranks arrived on the river's right bank, they discovered several drums and jerry cans stacked near a clay dam. Moments later, officers spotted a boat speeding away from the location. Even after a warning shot was fired, the captain reportedly refused to stop, disappearing upriver. The fuel left behind was seized as evidence, while investigators worked to identify those responsible. Authorities say this latest development comes on the heels of another successful anti-smuggling intervention in the Naikeri district earlier in the week. During a surveillance exercise, officers intercepted a truck loaded with fuel that had been transported from Guyana. The vehicle had been parked at a gas station, and further checks uncovered 4 large square tanks holding an estimated 4,000 liters of gasoline. The gas station's owner and an employee were taken into custody. Following consultations with the Public Prosecution Service, the matter was finalized out of court, with both men being released after paying a substantial fine. Police say their crackdown on cross-border fuel trafficking will continue as investigations progress. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned for regional news.
Good evening and welcome to Friday's edition of the Regional News. I'm Antonio Day. We start off with some news coming from the Pan-American Health Organization. The Pan-American Health Organization has introduced a rapid assessment tool to enhance care for women survivors of sexual violence, addressing the ongoing high rates of violence against women in the Americas, where 1 in 3 women has faced physical and/or sexual violence in their lifetime. PAHO said that the tool offers the region's public health sector a practical evidence-based instrument to evaluate services in emergency rooms and clinics, identify critical gaps in post-rate care, and strengthen the healthcare providers' response to one of the region's most pervasive human rights and public health challenges. Turning attention to news from the United Nations. The United Nations is quietly being starved. This month in New York, the Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned that the General Assembly's Budget Committee that the UN is entering a race to bankruptcy. The organization ended 2024 with about $760 million in unpaid contributions from member states, most of it still outstanding. The United Nations regular budget is apportioned according to national income. For the Caribbean and Latin America regions, with small open economies and societies vulnerable to climate change, the consequences are immediate and severe. United Nations development and humanitarian programs are already facing restrictions. Development financing, which has been long the backbone of support for the least developed countries and small island states, is declining at a time when the impacts of climate change are accelerating. For small island developing states, this is a matter of survival. Every dollar taken away from the United Nations Development and Climate Adaptation Programs increases the gap between the threats they face and their ability to respond effectively. And finally, United States Congresswoman Yvette Clarke has slammed military strikes against alleged drug boats off the coast of Venezuela and in the Pacific by the Trump administration as unlawful and un-American. She has called on the administration to cease using the United States Armed Forces for any hostilities in Venezuela or across the Caribbean, as the U.S. Congress has not authorized any such military action. Clarke, who represents Brooklyn's 9th Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives and whose parents are Jamaicans, said that the administration's kill first and ask questions never approach demonstrates a cavalier disregard for both U.S. and international laws. That has brought us to the end of Friday's edition of the Regional News. I'm Antonio Day. Thank you for watching and listening. Do have a spectacular weekend and be safe. Goodbye.
Let's now join Delwyn Neblet for HGP's Sports Pulse.
Good evening, Guyana. I'm Delwyn Neblet with your HGP TV Sports Pulse for today, Friday, December 5th, 2025. We begin tonight with football. Action concluded in the 2025 VP Champion of Champions Futsal Tournament with 3 fixtures at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall on Wednesday. Ben Street A emerged as champions and secured the $1 million top prize, after producing a commanding 4-1 victory over Back Circle in the final. Ravin Norton scored Back Circle's only goal as Bevney Marks netted a brilliant double and Colin Nelson scored once in a winning effort. The champions also capitalized on an own goal which opened the scoring. Second place Back Circle secured $500,000 as $300,000 went to Team Spirit, who defeated Ben Street B 3-2 in the third place playoff. The fourth place finisher secured $200,000. In the under-17 final, Back Circle's youth team defeated Kingston 4-3 on penalties after a 1-1 draw at the final whistle. More in football action concludes tonight in the Guyana Football Federation's Division 1 Women's League 2025 with 2 fixtures at the National Training Center in Providence. The first match features Manadalas versus the Western Tigers, while match number 2, currently underway, features table toppers Ghana Defence Force FC versus second place Ghana Police Force FC. Moving into golf, the inaugural PROMOTECH golf tournament is set to tee off this Sunday, December 7th at the Lusignan Golf Course on the east coast of Demerara. Commencing at 8 hours, the event aims to combine holiday spirit, community involvement, and friendly competition while showcasing PROMOTECH's dedication to supporting local initiatives and uniting Guyanese. Lusignan Golf Club Secretary Chet Bowling expressed gratitude for PROMOTECH's strong support, noting the company's clear commitment to social responsibility. He shared that players can expect attractive prizes, impressive trophies, and a warm seasonal atmosphere. PROMOTECH's country manager Bala Vinjimur has also confirmed plans to make the tournament an annual event. Moving into cricket, action concluded in the 2025 One Guyana Women's Senior Inter-County Tournament with the grand final at the LBI Community Centre ground on Thursday. Batting first after being sent in, Babiso bowled out for 134 in 37.5 overs. Opener Tia Isaacs top scored with a well-played 47 as both the captain Shanita Grimmond and Plafiana Millington added 12. Nikisha Narayan was the pick of the bowlers for Essequibo, taking 4 for 33 as both Tremaine Marks and Kumar Prasad picked up 2 wickets. When Essequibo responded, the captain Laureen Williams top scored with 35 and her sister Latoya Williams remained unbeaten on 32 to propel them to 135 for 8 in 38.1 overs. Plafiana Millington was the pick of the bowlers for Babis, taking 3 for 19 as Sharika Campbell picked up 2 for 26 in a losing effort. Essequibo are now the women's senior inter-county champions for the first time in the tournament's history after securing a hard-fought 2-wicket victory. Latoya Williams was acknowledged as the player of the match in the final as Shanita Grimmond finished with the most runs in the tournament. Demerara's captain Casey Schultz had the best bowling performance of 6 for 30 and was the tournament's leading wicket taker as Tia Isaacs' knock of 47 was the highest individual score of the tournament. Finally, in cricket, after 4 days of action in the first test between the West Indies and New Zealand currently underway at the Hagley Oval in Christchurch, the Windies require an additional 319 runs for victory with 6 wickets intact. Batting first after being sent in, New Zealand were bowled out for 231 in 70.3 overs. Kade Williamson top scored with 52 from 102 as Kimara Roach, Jaden Seals, OJ Shields and Justin Greaves each picked up 2 wickets. In response, the Windies produced a modest first innings total of 167 despite half-centuries from both Tejnarayan Chanderpaul and Shea Hope, who scored 52 and 56 respectively. Jacob Duffy was destructive for New Zealand, taking 5 for 34 from 17.4 overs. The Kiwis then amassed a massive 466 for 8 declared from 109 overs, led by brilliant centuries from both the captain Tom Latham with 145 and Rachin Ravindra with 176. Kimara Roach bowled well to pick up 5 for 78 as the Windies were given a target of 531 for victory. Heading into the final day, the Windies reached 212 for 4 on the back of a majestic century from Shea Hope, who remains unbeaten on 116. Justin Greaves is also unbeaten on 55. That's it for this edition of the HGP TV Sports Pulse. I'm Delwyn Neblett, reminding you to stay in the game.
2026 Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain set for February 17 through 20 under the theme Building Tomorrow's Future Today. AK-47 wielding cop charged, remanded to prison, faces life imprisonment. Man accuses police force of unfair treatment, losing hope of reclaiming his motorcycle that was confiscated by former employer. Multiple fuel smuggling operations linked to Guyana, fuel seized in 2 separate raids. And in sport, inaugural PROMOTECH golf tournament set for Sunday tee-off. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Aletha Grant. Thanks for watching.